Welcome to Psalm 125. Yet again, it's a Psalm of Ascent that is kind of short, which is great. These Psalms are nice and brief, and so they kind of establish what they're saying quickly and can become real gems to kind of hold on to for us. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forevermore. So we've got two references here to mountains, Mount Zion and the mountains surrounding Jerusalem. So Mount Zion is the mount that Jerusalem is built on. Okay, so first of all, is this referring to the same thing? No, it's not. But it's so similar that it's easily confused. But just working our way through it, we can kind of get a sense of what's going on here. Notice that the writing here uses simile. We've got two similes. Okay, those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion. In what sense? Well, in the sense that they cannot be moved, or it cannot be moved, it abides forever. There's the permanence of Mount Zion, the solidity and the enduring nature of that piece of ground, that piece of land, which is absolutely solid. But then there's a shift, because that's those who trust in the Lord, right? That's talking about the believers. But then we get a shift to a different simile, similar but different, in verse 2, because now we're talking about the Lord. And it's still a simile. It's as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people. And so you kind of have this sense of the people themselves who believe in the Lord, solid, enduring. And the mountains surrounding Jerusalem, solid, enduring as well. That's what the Lord is like. He's there around them. Maybe you could kind of say that the Mount Zion on its own might be vulnerable, but surrounded by mountains, it's protected. And so there's this sense of solidity and enduring permanence to these two similes being used together. God's people surrounded by God and God's strength. Then the psalm goes on and it kind of depicts for us a sense of a difficult time, maybe even a time where the people themselves are under a bad government. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous stretch out their hands to do wrong. He's saying that God will not allow the evil government to endure forever, because ultimately the people might get drawn away by it. And so there's a couple of requests. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in heart, do good to them. But those who turn aside to their crooked ways, the Lord will lead away with evildoers. And so you've got this kind of evil government. It could be a foreign government. It could be the Jewish government corrupted, like we see in many places. It doesn't really make a difference to us here. The point is that even when the government is evil, even when the government is wicked, you can have confidence that ultimately God will not allow that to endure, but instead there's the cry, God, do good to those who do good. As we trust you and do the right thing, do good to us. But for any that turn aside and kind of join in the wickedness, for any that get swept up in that, they're going to get led away to judgment. And then the closing line, peace be upon Israel. So this is really a psalm that looks at government and sees kind of the potential problems that can come in a society when a government is filled with wickedness. But don't miss those two similes at the start. There's a solid endurance for those that trust in the Lord, because there is a solid permanent protection surrounding them. I think Psalm 125 might be incredibly relevant, maybe now, certainly in the future, and may it point our hearts to God, looking to him for the strength to do the right thing no matter what.